Hello?
Here we go.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. Welcome into STL Sports Central presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. And this is Domesticated Gamblers, your home for St. Louis sports gambling talk. I'm Eric Sontag. There is Shawn Surwillo. We are with you guys here to talk some sports betting and cover our hometown teams from a gambling perspective. Usually do the show on Wednesday night, but we're here with you guys on Tuesday this week with New Year's Eve tomorrow. So drop your comments in the live chat. Become part of the show in our little gambling community here. Everyone's welcome to chime in. I will read your comments. Also hit the like button, subscribe to the STL Sports Central YouTube channel if you haven't already. On the show tonight, going to kick things off by talking Blues hockey as they face the juggernaut that is the Colorado Avalanche tomorrow night. We'll let you know where our betting angles are for that one, along with giving picks for the conference openers for SLU and Mizzou this week in college hoops. Billikens hosting St. Joe's tomorrow. And the Tigers taking on the defending national champion Florida Gators on Saturday. We just cannot get away from Gators on the show, Shawn. Then we're going to have our bets for the 4 college football playoff quarterfinals coming up this week. Also go through the entire NFL Week 18 slate and let you know where action is for those games. And then we'll close out the show with our best bet. So a loaded show tonight, Shawn. Welcome in, man. A lot going on this week. A lot of things to bet on as we are resting up over the holidays. So what's going on, brother?
Under the weather here a little bit. Some things going around. But life's pretty good. Time off during the holidays was really good. I hope you had a good Christmas and some time off with the family. You know, as you get older, those days just mean a little bit more to you. I remember being in your 20s, you're like, God damn it, I got to go to Christmas. I got to go do this. And now you're getting older, you kind of miss being around all the people that matter most. So life's good. I took off a couple days from gambling, dabbled a little bit in the NFL, hit a okay weekend. I think we're plus 170 for the weekend. And those things are going to happen, but we did hit a 3 units on San Francisco over the Bears. That was a great game. And we'll get more into the NFL and yeah, I'm excited for some college football myself, too. So, ready to give out some winners.
Yeah, real fun time of year. I actually got family upstairs right now. I got the in-laws in town hanging out over the holiday break for a little late Christmas. I'm very lucky. I love my in-laws. I know not everyone is so fortunate, but we're having a great time over here. The gambling's been just still incredible. Just like
Domino's for everybody. What's Sontag? Frozen pizza. What's going on?
So one of our gifts that we got was from my mother-in-law. This came in about a week ago, and my wife's from the Chicagoland area. I got a frozen batch of Portillo's sent down to us that we could make up some Italian beef sandwiches. So that's what we did tonight, where basically you take all that, where it's, you kind of do this with St. Louis, like some people get Emo's pizza shipped to them, in other cities across the country. Well, for Chicago, we get some Portillo's. It is delicious. That Italian beef with the giardiniera. I had a little sinus going on. That is now cleared up. We're good to go. So it's been a lot of fun. I can hear the kids stomping around upstairs. I hope you don't hear any stomping, and if you do, that's what's going on over here at the Sontag house.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear that. And I love me some hot beef, boy. There's nothing better than some hot beef. A little spice to it. Oh man, you're talking my language.
It's so good. You dip that in the au jus. You get it nice and wet. Oh, God, it's so good. Wet things are good. Timmy, in the chat with us. Gator Bowl. Yep. Mizzou dropping the Gator Bowl. We did cash on that. I ended up sprinkling Virginia because I'm like, this is stupid. Mizzou can't move the ball. We got to
talk about betting Virginia, and it was a missed opportunity by me. I'm glad you cashed in on that. Missouri just really lays an egg again. I'm not excited about the future here, so I know a lot of folks are, but I am not. Mr. Sharp thinks there's going to be a lot of 9-win seasons coming up.
I would take a 9-win season, but Drink's got to get in the portal and get him a damn quarterback. Like Brady Cook was Barry Odom's guy, and he's got to go out and hunt for a quarterback. I know
Yeah.
they were looking at Mendoza last year in the offseason, and I was thinking like, oh, this guy, he could be decent, but he was at Cal. He couldn't be that good, and now he's a Heisman Trophy winner. I
No,
mean, you get the right QB, that could change everything. So,
it can. Yeah. Leader of men. Yeah. And one thing, for the audience, Mr. Sharp did win the fantasy title. Tito did not make it to the finals. I beat him the week before. So all this talk about his great fantasy team, and he hasn't showed up the last 3 weeks to defend himself. So this is what Tito does. He runs and hides. So get back on the show, Tito, and be a man.
well, this is very exciting for me because breaking news tomorrow, Billiken's postgame show with St. Joe's. I'm going to be running point, and I got a text today. My co-host is going to be none other than Tito Ulrich. This is going to be me and Tito running postgame tomorrow after the Billikens and that flapping hawk for 2 hours.
Heck yeah, that's awesome. He'll go on that show, but he won't come on here and face me.
Yeah, get your ass back on here, Tito.
Yeah.
It's the gambling's just been incredible. It's just continuing to roll this month. It's only been 2 losing days for me in the month of December. We had that first week or so with the legal sports gambling, the bonus bets, the bonus offers. It was really hard to lose if you were doing things right.
Yeah.
But this has just kept on going for me. So, guys, if you're just starting out, I do want to talk about this and just recap it because I know there's a lot of people just want to bet $5 or $10 a game. That's what I usually do. So we can help you build yourself a bankroll. I'm living proof of that. Or if you've been betting for a long time and you want higher stakes like Mr. Sharp, throwing $300 on the Niners Bears game on Sunday night and sweating out that last play with Caleb Williams, trying to run around and make a play, we can help you cash too. So every single bet we make, it's tracked and transparent. Anyone can see it. We're out there putting ourselves out there on the free Action Network app, and just highly recommend if you're watching, create a free account. We've had some guys do this. It's been awesome to kind of start building this little community that we have where you could track your own plays so you know how you're doing. And if you follow people like me and Shawn, you get a notification instantly anytime we make a bet. I was actually just pulled in the parking lot at the Garden Glow at the Botanical Garden, and I saw your notifications. You had loaded up on the Niners, and I'm like, I kind of leaned that way anyway. I had them in a money line parlay. It was it was a parlay with Niners to win the game and Jennings to score. So that was exciting. That came cashing in the last couple minutes of the game with Jennings getting on the board. But I told you, I said, well, Shawn's gonna, take the spread. Let's roll. You're my ride or die. And so we cashed in on that. So follow us, guys, on that Action Network app. My username esontag hit a nice milestone yesterday and now up over $2,000 since starting to track my plays there a little over a year ago. Most of that damage done within the last month. And Shawn is at Mr. Sharp 44.99. You can see it on the screen there. That's his action handle. Up over $6,200, Shawn, since starting to track your plays there back in June. And that's the thing. Like, you kind of on Sunday, it was a very mediocre day. I think you were down a little bit, but you saw an edge in that Sunday night game and you fired. So just talk a little bit about that. Where you see edges like that, you really got to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I've been getting back to my bread and butter, 2 or 3 games a weekend or a day that I like, and then trying to hammer those games. Did take the last week off, so I was a little, you kind of got to put your toes in the water when it's warm, right? You can't just jump back in after a few days out of sports gambling. But yeah, mediocre day, and then I liked the 49ers. That was my game of the week. I really thought the Bears, I didn't think they'd hang around as long as they did. Kudos to the Bears. They made us sweat that one out a little longer than I would have liked. I think that pick 6 to start the game really got them into that game. I knew the Niners offense was going to roll them. Brock Purdy and this Niners offense, I mean, it's going to be tough. If they get home field advantage, watch out for the Niners. Good call by you to start the season. I know you were all over the Niners as a bounce back team. But yeah, picking my spots, that's where I like to live. Larger stakes, but also, last night I had a couple smaller bets and just dabbling in the water a little bit. So everything you kind of want, but definitely when you have a feel, especially for someone like Eric, basketball slew guy, when he's got a good feel, it's okay sometimes to pull the 3 or 4 unit, game. But I would also recommend some of these guys are pulling 4 and 5 units on a random game today. And I'm talking to you, Danimal. There's no lean there today on that over. So those are times we don't have an edge and we're just trying to gamble. That's bankroll management. When you have an edge, you really have been working a team following a team, following both teams, then you have an edge. But don't just randomly throw a 4 or 5 unit, banger out there on a Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, it's well said. So yeah, really, no matter which style gambler you are, you like the high stakes and smaller volume, like Shawn, or you like a lot of action but smaller stakes like me. We can help you guys out, help you cash. Another great example of why it's important to follow us on there on the Action Network app. So last Tuesday on the show, did it last Tuesday because Christmas Eve was the next night. I talked about how I wanted to be on the Rams in some capacity against the Falcons, just because of the bounce back factor after just that terrible loss in Seattle. But then after the weekend and the standings being what they were, I was thinking yesterday as I was getting ready to bet that game, like, man, the Rams don't really have anything to play for here.
All
I want to
right.
fade them. So yesterday I posted on the Action Network app. It was a 3-leg same game parlay where I took advantage of one of those boosts. I moved the Falcons up to plus 10.5. I had Bijan to score a touchdown and have 60 or more rushing yards. The odds were plus 250, and I essentially had that thing won by halftime. So
Yeah.
that's another great example right there. And Shawn, we talk about this like it's only Tuesday again this week. So like we're going to give our leans for every game in the NFL here on the show. There's a lot of things that can happen between now and the weekend that influence whether you should bet something or not. And I know that's something you're really
Yes.
good at. Like you're patient. You like to get all the information, get that injury report, and then you make your decisions from there, right? That's how you like to approach it usually.
Yeah, you won't see me put a lot of NFL bets in unless it's a over under or a situation where I feel like I'm going to get the best of the number then right then.
Yeah.
If I wait, I'm going to get the worst of the number. That's because I do. I like to wait, and I like to see the weather report. I like to see when we got a standalone game on Sunday night or Monday night. I like to see the camera around the stadium, get the vibe. The reporters are talking about who's banged up last minute, who's maybe a little shooken up this way or that way, and everything affects a game, because it's hard to stay on top of your game as a gambler. So, yeah, definitely want to get as much information as you can. But then again, you get injuries and things mess you up. So, you try your damnedest. But I would definitely say waiting as long as you can to get as much information as you can will definitely, over a 12-month period, you'll be more profitable.
Yeah, I agree. And another reason to wait, I think now, which we are brand new to this month, you get offers and these profit boosts that come out, especially for standalone games like Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football. They'll give you a 50 or 100% boost on DraftKings. For instance, like that gives you a huge edge to be able to bet these games and really extract the most value that you can.
Oh yeah, especially like a dog. If you like a dog on a money line and you boost it up, it's going to pay off over the year.
Yeah, no doubt. So I just get on the Action Network, guys. Really, really recommend it. Become part of our gambling community. Try and keep that food in your stomach, Mr. Sharp. I know you're trying to keep that in there.
Yeah, if I throw up, this will be an all timer on SPL Sports Central.
Text
First guy
hitting.
to throw up, maybe.
Get that on the blooper reel. Let's
Yeah.
get going on the show here by talking Blues hockey. Blues, they're just hanging around right now by the 500 mark. They're kind of in the race by default. There's just a lot of teams jumbled up there in the Western Conference for those 2 wild card spots. But tomorrow, the Blues are going to be in Denver to take on the Colorado Avalanche. Who, my God, they have separated themselves from the pack. Their record is 29-2-7.
It's crazy.
It's ridiculous. They're on pace to have the most points in the history of the NHL, and we're about halfway through the season. Their home record is 16-0-2. So nobody has beaten them at home in regulation. And that's why the Avalanche are a massive favorite in this game tomorrow night. Colorado is a minus 355 favorite. That is insane.
Yeah.
Blues plus 280. Total is 6.5, with a lot of juice on the under there. So let us know your thoughts in the chat, how you want to bet this one. I never recommend anyone bet minus 355 on the money line. Like, if you want to pick a spot like that, like Godspeed, good luck to you, but you're going to get burned by that if you do that too often. So I think, Shawn, we got to get a little creative here to find a play for this game. So what do we do with this game here tomorrow night?
Yeah, we're not going to lay 350. We're not going to take the Blues here either. I don't think they can go in there and get this thing done. So, yeah, if you like the edge here with the over or the under, I kind of like the over myself. But get on these player props and maybe get creative here. That's where I would look to go. I'm not, full transparency, I'm not into the Blues season yet. This is NFL time for me. So for me, it would be an over and under. I might look at the over in case, Colorado runs runs away with this thing. But Stan Kroenke, man, fuck, this guy just all he does is win right now.
He's winning. Arsenal had a huge win today in the EPL. They beat the hell out of the third
I
place
know.
team, Aston Villa. Yeah, there's some steam on this total. It was 5.5 when I looked earlier this morning. And I know you got to pay some juice if you want under 6.5, but I mean, to see the total rise from 5.5 to 6.5 is significant. So don't
Yeah.
mind that one bit. I thought about Colorado -1.5, but it's still at -135.
Yeah.
And I looked on the puck line. The Avalanche, they're only covering the -1.5 puck line just barely over 50%. They're 20-17, their record on the puck line. So I don't think that's a good enough price either, even though it probably is going to hit. What I would rather just do is just use Colorado on the money line as a parlay piece. So find another play you like in the range of around, -200 to -300. Put those two together, get you down to around -110. Like I said, nobody's won at Colorado in regulation this season. And if the Blues are fortunate enough to get this thing to overtime, we know they're not going to win because the
Right.
Blues cannot win 3-on-3 or in a shootout. So the play I have picked out, I posted this on the Action Network this afternoon. 2-team money line parlay, Avalanche to beat the Blues. And I'm taking Indiana to beat Alabama in the Rose Bowl. We're going to talk more about this game a little bit, but I just think Indiana's a total juggernaut. Their defense is going to cause all kind of havoc, and Alabama cannot run the ball. They're a one-dimensional offense. I think the IU defense is going to be all over Ty Simpson. So I think the Hoosiers are going to win that game pretty comfortably, but I'm just going to take the spread out of the equation because if you put Colorado and Indiana in a 2-team money line parlay, I got it at -120 on DraftKings this afternoon. I think that's a real good price. Its current price is -125. I'm still good with it there. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I just don't like it. I don't think the value is good enough for a two-teamer, personally, and I would look for a better edge in Colorado. Something screaming they're due to lose a game at home eventually.
Man,
Don't know if this will be it, but it's coming eventually. So I would just stay away from this game. No bet.
yeah, it's a tough one. I was almost hoping the Blues were going to win against Buffalo the other night because if they were going to, win 2 in a row, they're not going to win 3 in a row because the Blues haven't done that all season. So
Right.
if you get to a point, Mr. Sharp, where you got to hit the bathroom or or hit the bricks for the show, you just let me know. We'll
Yeah,
just be up
we're getting
front.
close. We're getting
All right.
close.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I got plenty to talk about on these games. Before we get to the rest of the college football playoff, let's talk a little college basketball with SLU and Mizzou as conference play gets underway. And in fact, Sean, I'm going to do my live spot for James Carlton here. So if you need a second to kind of get a drink or whatever you got to do, we will go ahead and do that. So let me talk about our friend James Carlton, our great sponsor here on the show. And he's a sponsor of our Mizzou coverage. And guys, even if you've already renewed with your current agent for 2026, you can still make the switch. And I highly recommend you take 2 minutes just to see how much money you can save by going with James Carlton. All you got to do is go to carltoninsurance.net, and they have a form on that page that is super easy to fill out. It's just your name, phone number, and email address. You can attach the 2026 renewal form from your current agent and just type in something like, hey, I would like a quote on this exact same coverage to see if you can save me money. Hit send email, and you're done. Take that small step, and there is a very good chance you could save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for next year on your insurance. That's what I did for 2025, and I saved over $800 on my home and auto insurance throughout this past year. And oh, by the way, I'm going to be paying less in 2026 than I did in 2025. So this is not just a case of like, oh, let's bring in a new customer at a discount and then we jack up their rate the next year. No, James is continuing to pass on the savings to current customers as well. And James Carlton now has over 460 5-star reviews on Google. So they're going to take great care of you. If you make the switch, they do all the work for you. So guys, it is so easy. I cannot emphasize enough how much you should get this quote. It is almost like being part of a club where you're in on the secret with just how much James Carlton can save you in many cases. So get that quote at carltoninsurance.net. And when you do it, mention Domesticated Gamblers or STL Sports Central, and they'll make a $20 donation to Mizzou's preferred NIL fund, which is the Will to Win Fund. You can also call during normal business hours at 314-961-4800, and you will speak to a person right away. If your insurance costs a leg and an arm, call James Carlton, State Farm. All right, looks like we have lost Mr. Sharp for the time being. He might be in the toilet right now, having to do what he's got to do to come get over the stomach bug he's got going on in his house. We got a comment here from Larry Campbell. Larry, thanks for joining us here in the chat. He says the Blues don't need to win much the rest of the year. We need a good pick in the summer draft, period. I think there's a lot to be said for that, Larry. I mean, you got, we're just talking about this team, the Colorado Avalanche, that are an absolute juggernaut. You got two other teams near the top of this division in Dallas and Minnesota that are just clearly the three best teams, not only in this division, but probably the three best teams in this league here at this point. It's probably not happening this year. I think Army might rip off the Band-Aid and maybe sell off some pieces in this team and be able to get that better draft pick that you're talking about. Great point there, Larry. Thanks for joining us here tonight on Domesticated Gamblers. I want to talk a little bit college hoops here. Maybe we'll get Mr. Sharp back, but if not, I'm just going to roll with this. So, guys, if you're watching, give us your thoughts in the chat. I'd be happy to talk about them. Mizzou, they look terrible. So if you're going to watch this team, you might as well try and win some money on them. So they are hosting Florida in the SEC opener on Saturday. No line for this game yet, but Ken Pom projects it as an 82-76 win for the Gators. So the line is going to be about Florida -6 with a total around 158. I would have a strong lean on Florida up to -7.5. You could also probably include their money line in your parlays this weekend. I just think this Mizzou team is bad. They've had some injuries, but for the most part, I think Dennis Gates just had a huge swing and a miss in the portal for the season. And I think we are getting some value on the Gators because their overall record is just 9-4. So they don't look very impressive on the surface, right? But like they have played one of the tougher schedules in the country. All of their losses have been 1 or 2 possession games against Arizona, TCU, Duke, and UConn. So Florida, the record doesn't look great, but this is still a very strong team. They are number 12 in Ken Pom, and I think they're ready to hit the ground running in the SEC, while Mizzou has failed every significant test so far. I also don't think this is going to be a very hostile environment in Columbia. The students are not back to school yet, and I just don't think people are excited about this team because of the terrible schedule they've had and also how they've played against good teams when they had the chance. I know I'm not as excited about Mizzou basketball as I am most years. So strong lean on Florida up to -7.5. And again, I'd be interested in the Gators in moneyline parlays this weekend. The Billikens, I'm very excited about. They're the odds-on favorite to win the A10 regular season title. They're at -105 to win the A10. VCU next up at +350. And just confirmed for Mr. Sharp, he says, sorry, buddy, I had to vomit. Oh, we didn't get it on camera with Mr. Sharp. Looks like he's going to be out sick the rest of the show. So we're just going to roll with it again, guys. Join me in the live chat. Happy to talk it over with you with all the gambling we have going on here this great holiday week. So SLU's conference opener is tomorrow at home against St. Joe's. And the Hawk mascot, he never stops flapping his wings. So looking forward to seeing that tomorrow at Chaifetz Arena. Billikens come in as a 19.5 point favorite. Total is 158.5. We got some comments in the chat from Babe Truth 921. Babe Truth, thanks for joining us. Is Kellen Thames the answer? It's the most hung on the SLU roster. Great question. I do not have insight into that. Is Kellen Thames the answer? Robbie Avila the answer? I think the answer for being a key to this team, potentially making the NCAA tournament. I think Robbie Avila is probably your most important player on the roster. Yeah, that's shitty about Mr. Sharp having a puke. I almost wish we had it live on the air, but we're going to roll with it. So yeah, the Billikens, this is a game tomorrow. It's a big number for them to cover. I do lean that way. Like I might bet this. I want to see how I feel tomorrow. But SLU's been profitable against the spread. They're 7-5. And St. Joe's has been bad against the number. They're 3-8 against the spread. And just from what it looks like on Ticketmaster, I was looking today, Chaifetz is going to be mostly full tomorrow. And the Billikens have not had great crowds this season, but a 3:00 start on New Year's Eve, I think it's perfect. I think it looks like the city's starting to get on the bandwagon for this team. And I think SLU is going to want to show out in front of a mostly packed house tomorrow. So lean SLU. But again, follow me in the Action Network app at esontag to see if I end up betting this one tomorrow. Again, also looking forward to tomorrow on that Billiken Central postgame show. It's going to be me and Tito breaking things down. So cannot wait for that. Always love talking college hoops with Tito. So we'll have a lot of fun tomorrow on the postgame show. So check us out after hopefully a big Billiken victory. And then shortly after we're done on the postgame, it is going to be time to settle in and watch the college football playoff. And it all starts tomorrow night in the Cotton Bowl with Miami taking on Ohio State. We're going to go through all 4 of these CFP games. So let me know in the chat where your action is. It starts tomorrow. Again, Cotton Bowl night game. As I pull up the lines here, Ohio State, 9.5-point favorite. Totals 40.5. I think this is going to be sweaty, but I like the first half under 20.5. These teams like to play slow. Ohio State, dead last in the country in pace, and Miami ranks 129th out of 136 teams in pace. So you got 2 slow teams. You got 2 great defenses. Ohio State, probably the best defense in the country. And Miami, nobody scored more than 20 points in regulation on them over the last 7 games. And we saw it in the Big Ten title game against Indiana. This is not your typical elite Ohio State offense. They can just dominate everybody easily. They like to be more methodical, where they really just grind you out. So just in case this game gets a little loose in the second half and you got a team chasing the game, putting up points in garbage time, I want to focus on the first half here. So give me the under 20.5 in the first half to -110 on DraftKings. A couple other comments in the chat. Babe Truth saying Georgia -6.5. He's on that. I agree with you, Babe Truth. Talk about that game here in just a minute with the Sugar Bowl. And Ricky Summers, thanks for joining us, Ricky. Illinois is the best football team in the area. Deal with it, Mizzou boy hater. Hey man, Illinois was terrific this year. 8-4, I think, was a very, very solid season for them. I know they had some losses that you would hope you would want to have back. The Indiana game was just a debacle, but big win for the Illini tonight, coming back to beat Tennessee in the Music City Bowl. That was a great game. Happy for Illinois to see them come through. So yeah, Ricky, thanks for joining us. Illinois basketball, probably the best college team in the area as well. We know they're better than Mizzou. I think they're better than SLU, but I think these Billikens are going to be pretty damn good this year as well. All right, then you got New Year's Day. Your 3 bowl games. It's just going to be a fantastic day, as it always is. Kicks off with the Orange Bowl at 11 a.m. Oregon against Texas Tech. Oregon, the lower seed, as the 5 seed against the 4 seed Texas Tech, but Oregon is your favorite here at -2.5. Total is 51.5. I think the wrong team is favored here. So give me Texas Tech on the money line, priced up at +110 on DraftKings. If the name on the front of the jersey said Alabama or Georgia instead of Texas Tech, there was no way that this team would be an underdog on Thursday. But because Texas Tech is not a brand name and they're going up against a brand name, they're the dog here. And I think the Red Raiders are going to win this game. Texas Tech, they destroyed every team they played this season except for one. All of their wins came by at least 22 points. The only close game they had was their only loss, 26-22 at Arizona State. But that game, they did not have their starting quarterback, who was injured. So Texas Tech probably would have been undefeated had their starting quarterback remained healthy. They have an incredible offense. They're second in the country in scoring, and their defense is just as good. They're third in the country in scoring defense. So that's where I think the difference in this game is going to be. Oregon, I think they have a very good defense, but Texas Tech is just dominant on that side of the ball. So both these teams are going to score some points here, but I want the better defense in a game with a tight spread like this. So give me Texas Tech on the money line. And what I think is going to happen, I think it's going to be Texas Tech against Indiana in the semifinal. I think the winner of that game is going to win the national championship. I really do. I think those are the 2 best teams in the country. Let's talk about those Hoosiers in the Rose Bowl at 3 o'clock on Thursday. IU a 7-point favorite over the Tide. Total is 47.5. I talked about it earlier, so I'm not going to rehash it all, but I really like that Avalanche Indiana money line parlay a lot. Say the Blues do pull the upset tomorrow and they blow up that parlay, I would be comfortable taking Indiana -7. I just think Alabama is too one-dimensional and they are just ripe for the picking here. Also, unfortunately, there's a chance we get rain in this game at the Rose Bowl, which would just be such a bummer. So I like Indiana either way, but I would like them even more if this is a wet and sloppy game because Alabama cannot run the ball. So lean Indiana, but again, I really like lean Indiana -7. But again, I really like that Avalanche IU money line parlay. If you'd rather not do a parlay and just bet the side in this game, I think Indiana -7 is a good look. I think they win this thing by double digits. I really think IU is going to win this game by about 14 to 20 points. I just think it's another case. If it was Ohio State on the front of the jersey instead of Indiana, I think this would be a double-digit spread, and I think the Hoosiers win this one by double digits. And again, yeah, I agree with you, Babe Truth, on the nightcap in the Sugar Bowl with Georgia, a 6.5-point favorite against Ole Miss. Total of 55.5 in this one. I'm just going to lay it and take the Bulldogs. We talked about it a couple weeks ago on the show that Ole Miss got to have a big FU game against Tulane where it was just a physical mismatch and they could really stick it up Lane Kiffin's ass. But I think this is where the loss of their head coach becomes too much. Georgia won and covered when they played Ole Miss back in October. There were a lot of points in that game. Final was 43-35, but Ole Miss did not score at all in the final 20 minutes of that game. I just think Georgia kind of figured them out. And now you don't have your head coach to help you make adjustments in the rematch. I just think this Georgia defense is playing great over the last several weeks. Their offense is looking good. I just think this number should be over a touchdown. So I like Georgia a lot at this key number of -6.5. That is our college football playoff preview. Want to get to the NFL, but first, of course, want to tell you guys about DraftKings. If you haven't signed up for legal sports gambling yet, do it today with DraftKings. Take advantage of this outstanding offer that they have. Of course, DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is now live here in the Show Me State. Now you can make every game even more exciting with same-game parlays, money lines, props, and more. All from your phone, all safe, secure, and easy to use. And right now, new Missouri customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. No waiting, no nonsense, just pure action powered by America's top-rated sportsbook app. And guys, there are a lot of apps out there. DraftKings truly is my favorite sportsbook. They have tons of betting options. They have attractive offers on a daily basis with the boosts that they have. And if you're into futures like I am, they've got the most futures markets of any book out there that I have seen. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code STL Sports. New Missouri customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code STL Sports. The crown is yours in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. All right, guys, let's get to the NFL. Going to give my opinions on every game here in Week 18. But a reminder, you get all of my bets for the NFL and all sports in the free Action Network app. Track your own picks, follow other people as well. Highly recommend it. Just to keep yourself organized, if anything, with all the action you have going on now with legal sports gambling here in Missouri. My username there on the Action Network app is esontag. Shawn, who again had to leave us because he had to go vomit. He's got the stomach bug going through his house here in the holidays. Shawn's username in the Action Network app is Mr. Sharp 4499. So guys, if you're watching, I would love to get your thoughts on these games in the live chat as I go through them. Let me know where your action is, and I'll talk about it. A lot of angles to consider with these games in the NFL, with motivation. You got incentives with player props, and I might be missing something here, whether it's a prop I haven't considered or something like that. So get involved in the chat, and I will read what you have to say because let's see if we can all cash together here this weekend in the NFL. And let's start with the two big games on Saturday. First, it is the Panthers at the Bucks. And Tampa Bay needs to win and have the Saints beat the Falcons on Sunday to go to the playoffs. If Carolina wins or the Falcons win, it'll be the Panthers as your NFC South champions and the 4 seed in the playoffs. The Godson joining us in the chat saying, not the bug, Mr. Sharp, we need you. Until Mr. Sharp can get some medicine in the system, get some water, maybe come hop back on and join us. If you're watching, Mr. Sharp, we're going to be on another 20 minutes or so going through these games. And so the first one again, Saturday, 3:30 p.m. Tampa, a 2.5-point home favorite over Carolina, with the total being 43.5. I'm not going to get cute here. Give me the Panthers. They have been the team to ride all year long as an underdog. I'm not going to stop here. You want to dance with the girl that brought you, and the Panthers have brought us to this point. All 8 of their wins have come as a dog, which is the most by any team in the Super Bowl era. And I think it would just be a fitting way for them to clinch the division by winning on the road as a dog. In Tampa, I just don't think they have enough in the tank to get this done. They have lost 8 straight games against the spread and 7 of 8 straight up. They have just been so beat up this year. I saw Baker Mayfield, a limited participant in practice today because of right shoulder and knee injuries. Their stud left tackle, Tristan Wirfs, didn't practice because he's all beat up. I'm sure they're probably both going to be out there, but this team is just, they don't have it this year. So I want the Panthers on the money line here at plus 120. The Godson is with me. Panthers, baby. One last dog win. This is like one last ride. You got to do this here and ride Carolina as a dog. And again, if it's 2.5, if it was 3, I could see an argument. Just, take the Panthers plus 3 to give yourself that push protection. But at 2.5, let's ride, baby. Panthers money line plus 120. Second game on Saturday night, obviously a huge one, with the winner getting the number 1 seed and a bye in the NFC, and that is Seattle at San Francisco. We got another dog here. I guess Carolina's a road dog, but San Francisco a home dog here. Seattle minus 1.5, total 49.5. I'm surprised the Niners are the dog here, and I want another dog on the money line in this one. So I like the Niners at even money plus 100. I still just like, at the end of the day, I do not trust Sam Darnold in a big game. I know he beat the Rams, but that was an incredibly unlikely occurrence. They needed that special teams touchdown just to get back in the game, or else that thing was over. And Brock Purdy, he is rolling right now. This dude is brimming with confidence. He's doing dances on the field. I feel like I've not seen it from this guy before, but he looks super relaxed. He's just balling out right now. And I believe in these NFC West trends where one team dominates another. And the Niners just have Seattle's number. In the last 8 matchups with Seattle, the Niners are 7-1 straight up, 6-2 against the spread. This is real. And we've seen it in other matchups here this season and in the past few years as well. In this NFC West, it's just kind of crazy how that works out. So I want the Niners on the money line at even money plus 100. If you take both underdogs on the money line on Saturday, I would be very surprised if you don't go at least 1-1. And obviously, I think you're going to go 2-0. The Godson says he's with me. Niners. Brock is the man right now. I mean, if this dude was healthy for a full season, he'd be in the MVP consideration with Drake May right now. He's running away with this award. We'll talk a little bit more about Drake May and the Patriots here in just a few minutes. And look who it is making an appearance in the chat. Tito is with us. He said here Ray Caruth might make an appearance in this Panthers-Buccaneers game. Maybe not tomorrow, but Tito will be making an appearance with me tomorrow on the Billiken Central post-game show. Can't wait to see you tomorrow, Tito. Talk some Billiken hoops. And Tito's right. White boy dancing is the best. Brock Purdy, a lot of dancing going on in that Sunday night game against the Bears. This should be a really, really fun game on Saturday night against the Seahawks. Let's move on to these Sunday games. Very interesting slate. With these games, some of them mean a lot. Some of them mean absolutely nothing. So one of those games that means nothing is the very first one with the Cowboys at the Giants. We're just going down the list on DraftKings, so feel free to follow along with the lines. If you guys want to come join in the chat and give me your thoughts on these games. Again, a lot of angles to consider. I might be missing something. So if you see an angle, throw it in the chat and I will talk about it. Cowboys, a 3.5-point favorite on the road at the Giants. Total is 51.5. Want to do one last ride with the Panthers as a dog. I want to do one last ride with an over in a Cowboys game, in particular in the first half. So I did not even realize this until seeing this stat today. Cowboys are 15-1 to the first half over in their games this season. That is the best mark for any team in the NFL over the last 30 years. So again, if you just bet the first half over in every single Dallas game this season, your record would be 15-1. And it's the last week of the season. These teams, again, nothing on the line. This is a game that's going to get real loose. The first half over is the numbers at 25.5. So essentially it's, 25.5, 24.5, 26.5. It's all the same thing because you're probably not going to get these weird numbers in the first half. But I still like the over there. I want to take that in the first half. Full game, 51.5. Don't mind that one bit. That sounds like that's what the Godson's going to do. Cowboys over, baby. Cashed last week on Christmas against the Commanders. I think it's probably going to cash again here on Sunday against the Giants. Next game is Indy at Houston, where the Texans are a 10.5-point favorite. Total's 38.5. This is one of those tough ones. It's a stay away from me. Just really want to be careful with this one because, yes, like Houston's still alive to win the AFC South, so they have something to play for, but they need to win and have the Jags lose. But the Jags are playing Tennessee. So, like, if the Jags get off to a big lead and they're just killing the Titans, like in the second quarter, say, the Texans might just call off the dogs in the second half and play the backups because at that point they don't have anything to play for. So this is the kind of stuff you got to be careful with. Could be some good live betting opportunities on Sunday if you have a chance to just lounge around and watch some football. So use those profit boosts so you get available for live in-game betting. But at least at this moment for a pregame bet, stay away from me in this game with Indy and Houston. I think there are better games to bet on this weekend. One game I think I want to bet on that does not mean anything is the next game with Cleveland at Cincinnati. Bengals a 7.5-point favorite. Totals 44.5. I think the Bengals are the right side here. I think last week was the Browns Super Bowl. They upset the Steelers. Mr. Sharp and I both cashed on that. That was a very satisfying win, fading the public, because I think that's the fourth straight time that the Browns have beaten the Steelers in Cleveland. But I want to fade the Browns off that big win. Since the start of last season, the Browns are 0-6 against the spread after a win, and they failed to cover the spread by over 11 points per game in that span. So if the Browns win a game, just fade the next week and they get their asses kicked. That is what the norm has been over the last two seasons. I think we're going to see that again on Sunday because Joe Burrow is just on fire right now. He's making up for lost time for when he was hurt. He's putting up huge numbers right now, and I think he's going to do it again here. So I really like the Bengals, even at -7.5, even if it's over 7, I don't mind that. I think I would take this all the way up to -9.5 on the Bengals. We got Tito in the chat saying Houston money line. Love me some Texan defense. Tito, do not be laying -675 on the money line as a standalone, because for every one of those you lose, you got to win 7 others to make it up. So, don't bet a -675 favorite on the money line. Something you could do is make them part of your parlays this weekend, including Houston on the money line. I think could be a good look. You could even potentially tease them down or use an alternate spread. Houston -2.5. That's something you could do, get a little better price where you're kind of just betting for them to win, but just covering a 2.5-point spread. Again, follow me in the Action Network app at esontag. I put a lot of bets together like this. And again, but just be careful, Tito, with Houston. Halftime might roll around. They got nothing to play for. They pull everybody. Indy's going to be playing the rookie quarterback. Phillip Rivers going to be sitting this game. So they're probably just going to let this kid sling it. So just be careful with these games like this. The Gotson in the chat saying great fade of the Browns since he looks playoff ready but can't make them. I mean, that's the problem. If Joe Burrow would have stayed healthy all year, I think this could have been a very dangerous team, just a very fun team. It's just very similar for this team last year with the Bengals, where they just, make a run late in the season, but just not good enough to get in. I'm sure no one would have wanted to play them had they seen them in the playoffs. And Tito says Shadur playing for his starting spot next year. Give me the Browns. mean, it's this division. I'm not saying the Bengals are my best bet of the week. But Tito, if you want some side action, might get with you on that with the Bengals and Browns. Take the juice out of the equation. Just make it a Eric and Tito. Our odds still even money plus 100. Get rid of that juice. So we'll talk about that tomorrow, maybe Tito, before we go on for the Bill Central post game show. All right, next game on the slate. This one actually does matter. Maybe we didn't expect it to matter, but after the Falcons had that big win against the Rams last night, it now does matter. And this game is New Orleans at Atlanta. So if the Bucks beat the Panthers on Saturday, Tampa will need the Saints to beat the Falcons as well. Otherwise, Carolina wins the division. So if the Bucks could win this game on Saturday against Carolina, feel really good about themselves, feel like they're in, but they haven't made it yet. They need the Falcons to lose to the Saints. I think the Saints are going to win this game at plus 3.5. I think I would even take them plus 154 on the money line, but I definitely lean Saints. Strong lean plus 3.5. I think this is going to be in pocket for me. I think it was the Godson on the show last week. Tyler Shuck is just a dog. That's what he is. This dude plays winning football. Saints have won 4 in a row. They're also 6-2 against the spread with Shuck as their quarterback. I bet them to cover at Tennessee last week. That came through for me. And again, just the Falcons, they have nothing to play for than kind of be, spoiler here. But I just think this is a letdown game for them coming off the big win over the Rams last night on Monday Night Football. And just the Falcons, they have really showed out in primetime this year. I remember they beat the Vikings on Sunday Night Football. They beat the Bills and the Rams on Monday Night Football this year, and then they beat the Bucks on that Thursday night game with that big comeback a couple weeks ago. So they get up for those big games. I don't think they're going to be as up for this one against the Saints. Another thing I'm looking to sprinkle, still waiting for odds on this. You would get massive odds on this, I'm sure. But Bijan Robinson is 255 scrimmage yards away from breaking Chris Johnson's single season record. I know that's a humongous number, but he had 229 yards last night against the Rams. I'm just saying, if he has a big first half like he did last night, the Falcons just might feed Bijan in the second half trying to get him that record. So keep an eye out for that. I got a few more of these things just to kind of keep an eye on from a player prop perspective in these future games coming up with incentives that are out there for these players trying to make some more money. But keep an eye on that one with Bijan Robinson. Again, he needs 255 scrimmage yards to break Chris Johnson's single season record. If he had 229 against the Rams last night, I think he could do it against the Saints if the Falcons commit to it. So next game on the board is the Titans at the Jaguars. Jags a 12.5 point favorite. Total's 47.5. Jags still have a lot to play for here. They clinched the division with the win or a Houston loss, and they also still technically have a shot at the 1 seed. But that is very unlikely. They need losses by the Broncos and the Patriots. And then obviously they need to beat the Titans as well. I don't want to get backdoored on this big number, so I'm just going to take the Jaguars team total over 30.5. Jags 12-4 to their team total going over this season. And I think they're going to put up another big number here against a Tennessee team that has shown some good signs. But just in this spot, the Jags playing really well. They want to win this division. I think they just blow Tennessee out of the water here. But again, just in case Cam Ward keeps balling out, he's making some great plays. I think the Jags team total over 30.5. Really good look for Sunday. Next game, tough one. Green Bay at Minnesota. Minnesota, a 6.5 point favorite here. Total's 36.5. Just a lean on the Vikings because the Packers have absolutely nothing to play for here. And Minnesota, great finish of the season. They have now won 4 in a row. They can actually finish with the winning record if they get this win, which is just stunning with how things looked about a month ago. That defense is playing really well. So Minnesota, I think they're going to want to finish strong in front of their home fans. So a lean on the Vikings minus 6.5. Another game in the NFC North, the Lions at the Bears. Bears, your NFC North champions, and they are a 3-point favorite against the Lions at Soldier Field. Total is 50.5. Lean Bears, I don't think we're going to bet this one. Lions have a game that doesn't mean anything for the first time in a long time. And the Bears, I think they want to win. to get the 2 seed, but I think it's possible they prioritize health. I don't know. I got my brother-in-law's in town. He's a Bears fan from Chicago. I was talking to him about this earlier today. He's not quite sure either how much the Bears are going to go after this. So just if anything though, like with the Bears being at home, this has been just such a magical season. I think they want to finish this thing in style. So lean Bears -3, but I don't think this is going to make my card for Sunday. Next game is the Cardinals at the Rams. Rams, another tough team to kind of judge what they're going to do. The total 7.5, or I'm sorry, the spread is Rams -7.5. Total is 46.5. Lean Arizona just because, like, Sean McVay said he's not going to rest his starters in this game. But I could see this being a situation almost like a preseason game where they play some and then they get them out of there. Like if one guy gets dinged up, it'd be like, what are we doing? Let's get these guys out of here. So just be careful with this one. Be careful with a lot of games on the slate this weekend. In this one, look for news as the week goes on of maybe what McVay has planned. I just cannot imagine that the Rams starters are going to be out there the whole game. So lean Arizona +7.5. But again, this game is not going to make my card on Sunday. Up next, it's the Dolphins at the Patriots. Pat's a 10.5-point favorite with a total of 45.5. Patriots need a win and a Denver loss to get the number 1 seed. So give me New England first half. And I think we saw this last week against the Jets. They want Drake May to win the MVP. He had that massive game, and he is now the -330 favorite on DraftKings to win the MVP. Drake May. What a season this dude has had. So I think the Patriots are going to want to run it up in the first half like they did last week against the Jets, and they're playing a Dolphins team that we know hates playing in the cold. So I really like the Patriots. -6.5 in the first half. I thought this was going to be over a touchdown, so I think this is going to make my card. -6.5 on the Patriots in the first half. Again, I don't want the whole game because of the Broncos are beating the hell out of the Chargers backups like I expect them to. I could see the Patriots pulling their starters in the second half. Then it's a little dicey, laying double digits for the full game. The Godson says Drake May, MVP for certain. Yeah, -330 on DraftKings to win the MVP. I might even bet that if you're going to lay -330 on anything, that might be it. Because I don't even know. I'd have to look and see who's next up in the market. In fact, I could find that real quick. So Drake May's -330 to win the MVP. Stafford's next up at +250. Everyone else is a massive price. Trevor Lawrence is next up at +20,000. So this is basically May against Stafford. Dude, if you hear maybe McVay has a change of heart that, you know what, we're going to play Stafford just one quarter, or, we're just not going to play Stafford at all. Get on that price, May -330, nothing crazy on it. But if you want to essentially bet 3 units, bet 3.3 units to win 1 unit, I think there's it's not a bad investment of your money, especially if you get news breaking like that. Gotson also said Josh Allen sold for Vegas money. I think Josh is just really beat up right now. So I hope Josh does not play for the Bills this weekend. We'll talk about them here in just a little bit. Gotson also saying back on that Cardinals-Rams game, +7.5 is a lot. I will be on Arizona. Yeah. Only thing with Arizona is they have just totally packed it in. Like they are playing no defense. Didn't really, play very well offensively. I know they scored a garbage time touchdown last week that actually cashed a big parlay for me with Trey McBride getting in the end zone at the very end. That was a really nice one to see. But yeah, I just think there's better games to bet this weekend than Cardinals and Rams. Another game just kind of weird, just no stakes, trying to figure out what the good angle is. It is one other thing I wanted to mention. I'm looking through my notes here. I want to talk about some of these incentives. And so that Patriots game against the Dolphins, keep an eye out on the prop market. Hunter Henry, he needs 5 receptions in this game for a $250,000 incentive. And that is an attainable number. 5 catches for Hunter Henry. He just had 6 catches a couple weeks ago. So if the price is right, that's something I may be on this Sunday. A lot of these player props have not been released yet. It's Tuesday night. A lot of uncertainty with kind of who these teams are going to play and not play. So keep an eye on this kind of stuff and attack these markets if you see an edge. Also know the books are aware of these different incentives as well, so that you might be having to pay a tax on some of these player props like a Hunter Henry. But again, he's just 5 receptions away from 250 grand. And, he's in a lot of really good games this season. Drake May might want to feed him in the first half and get him that money. So keep an eye out for this kind of thing. I got a few more of these angles coming up here later in the show. The Godson says, just kidding about Josh. Yeah, going to be rooting for Josh the whole playoffs. Give me that Bills Super Bowl future for fun. I thought about doing it myself, the Godson, but I'm kind of emotionally invested in the Bills. Again, that's a team I grew up rooting for. If they lose in the playoffs, it's going to hurt me emotionally, so I want to put my money behind it. But yeah, I think this is about the most wide open NFL playoffs we've probably seen in as long as I can remember. Where usually you have one or two teams that are kind of a step ahead of everybody else. But I think just about every team in the bracket this year is going to feel like they can make a deep run and get there to the Super Bowl. And another player prop angle for this next game with the Chiefs at the Raiders. Two dead teams. Chiefs 5.5-point favorite. Total's 36.5. So Kareem Hunt needs 31 scrimmage yards for a $25,000 incentive. Not a massive number, but 25 grand for Kareem Hunt for just 31 scrimmage yards. And the prop is not out there yet, but I think his rushing yards prop is probably going to be very close to this number. So if I'm going to make a play on this game, it'd be the over on Hunt's rushing yards prop, or maybe combined rushing and receiving yards prop if that is offered. That'd probably be the way I would go. But again, get all the official plays for me in the Free Action Network app with the username Sontag. Again, guys, it is December 30th. I have had 2 losing days all month. So we're just continuing to cash in here with legal sports gambling in Missouri. Up next, it is Washington at Philadelphia. Eagles a 7.5, 7-point favorite. Total is 41.5. Another game. I think motivation is tough to judge here. It sounds like some starters are going to sit for the Eagles at the very least, but it's not confirmed yet from what I've seen. So again, guys, it's only Tuesday. A lot of information come out between now and this weekend. So keep an eye out for all the breaking news. This is a good time to follow the Adam Schefters of the world. Turn on notifications and get that information as soon as you can. And if you see an edge in the gambling market, hammer it, but get yourself the best of the number. So another incentive in this game, Commanders at Eagles. Deebo Samuel, he needs 93 receiving yards for a $450,000 incentive, and he needs 2 touchdowns for a $250,000 incentive. So, I think it's going to be easier to get 93 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns, more money for Deebo too. So I think I'd prefer to be on the over on his receiving yards prop if I play this at all. Again, just still waiting for numbers on what these props are going to come out at. Again, the books are aware of this stuff, so they might charge you a tax on these props. But 93 yards for Deebo, I do think that's an achievable number for him. He just had 68 yards last week when they played on Christmas Day against the Cowboys. Needs 93 this week. I could see him getting fed on Sunday with, again, the Eagles probably going to be playing most of their backups in that game. Another game with backups, and my God, the Broncos are just so damn lucky. Chargers at the Broncos. The Broncos all the way up to a 12.5-point favorite. Total's 37.5. I'm having deja vu from last year. If you remember, this week last year, the Broncos needed a win at home against the Chiefs to make the playoffs. Chiefs had the number 1 seed nailed down. They rested everybody, and the Broncos just absolutely destroyed them. And I think we're going to see a very similar thing here on Sunday. The Broncos clinched the number 1 seed with a win, and the Chargers are playing the backups with their playoff spot secured. This is confirmed. That's going to be Trey Lance, a quarterback for Justin Herbert, and it's all the backups going to be out there. I think the Broncos win this one easily by 20 plus. This was almost my best bet for the entire show. Broncos just going to beat the living hell out of them. Jim Harbaugh does not care about this game. So Broncos minus 12.5. They'll be definitely putting that in pocket this weekend. A couple games left. First one, the Jets at the Bills. Yeah, and the Godson's with me. This should be a Broncos smackdown. Yeah, I think this is a multi-unit play. This is not just a 1-unit play. I think this is one you want to hammer here on Sunday. Jets at the Bills. Bills just a 7-point favorite. Total's 38.5. We talked about Josh Allen. I cannot imagine he's going to be out there with how beat up he is. Nothing but seeding on the line for the Bills. I just think this is a stay away on the side, and the total for me, they gave it a good run last week against the Eagles, where they got back in that game, had a chance to win it at the end. I think the Bills, they've done what they need to do. They're in the playoffs. We know they're going to be on the road. I don't think they care who they play. I think Josh needs to rest up, get himself healthy, and then go on some magical run. And that's what I'm hoping and kind of expecting, where they can make a run to the Super Bowl. So a couple more props to keep an eye on with this game for the Bills. Again, not sure what their starter situation is going to be. I don't think Josh is going to be out there. Maybe some of these players will play. I'm sure Khalil Shakir is going to want to play because he needs one touchdown for a $150,000 incentive. Dawson Knox, he's going to want to be out there. He needs just 46 receiving yards for a $100,000 incentive. Again, very attainable numbers. So make sure to look at the prop market once it gets released for this game as well. Gatson says, poor Josh has had too much to do. They ask a lot of him. So that's why he really, really needs this rest. Yeah, give up this game, rest up for the playoffs. If Brady Cook's going to be out there for the Jets, let's see Brady Cook ball out as a Mizzou guy. I'd love to see him put up some points on the final weekend of the season. And the last game of the regular season, your biggest game of the weekend. Cannot wait for this one. Ravens at the Steelers. I was very surprised to see this line with the Ravens as a 3.5 point favorite with a total of 40.5. If we were playing guess the line, I was thinking it was going to be Pittsburgh minus 1.5. Like not a field goal favorite, but a small favorite. I saw it came out, I believe, at Ravens +3, or Ravens -3. This thing's been bet up to 3.5. Man, like Lamar Jackson's status is still up in the air. It sounds like we're going to know more tomorrow. I got to think he's going to play. But even if he's out there, give me the Steelers +3.5. Like I absolutely want to be on Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin in this situation as home underdogs. Over the last 20 years in this series, they have played a lot of big games in this series, and the underdog has an ATS record of 30, 12, and 3 over the last 20 years with the Ravens and the Steelers. And obviously getting that 3.5 is huge, with 3 being a key number, because also over the last 20 years, when these two teams play each other and the line is 3 or more points, the underdog is 24, 5, and 3 against the spread. It's just overwhelming data there in support of the dog. So maybe the Ravens win this one, but like, give me those 3.5 points all day on Pittsburgh. I know DK Metcalf not being there is a problem, but still, I really like the Steelers here at home. The Ravens have their own drama with themselves. It sounds like there's drama behind the scenes. I don't think it's likely, but there are reports from a reputable reporter out there, I believe from The Athletic, that there's a chance this could be Lamar's last game in a Ravens uniform. So I think Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin get this done. I think they're going to win the game, but just to be safe, again, these teams always play close games. Not always, but very often they play close games. I would be happy to take the Steelers +3.5. The Gatton said, yeah, those dog stats are absurd between those two. It is nuts, guys, just how often the dog covers in the series, and a home dog on Sunday Night Football with everything on the line. This is kind of the ultimate Mike Tomlin rah-rah spot. I know we've kind of joked about that on the show. It hasn't come through a few times this year. But just if like I had a gun to my head and my life depended on picking the right team on the side against the spread, you got to take the Steelers here. I just think you got to. And the script writers had this one planned. Lamar should play. Yeah, always take the +3.5 in a 50-50 game like this. Most likely comes down to that field goal. 100% the Godson. A total agreement for me. And this is a game too. Like, look, there's some games you don't have an edge on. Where there's games where there's nothing on the line, where you're just like, I don't know what to bet. This is a game, at the very least, have some action on it, just because this is going to be incredible to watch. So if you don't have a great feel on it, just sprinkle a half unit on it, just something to have some fun because gambling's supposed to be fun, right? I'm going to have a ton of fun watching this game on Sunday night. But at the very least, this is the 1 unit play for me on the Steelers plus 3.5. All right, guys, that is a look at NFL Week 18. Now let's get to those best bets. If you're watching, if you got a best bet for this week, throw it in the chat. I would be happy to talk about it. Winner for me last week on Manchester City and over 1.5 goals. I was sweaty, but we got it done. I'm now 3-1 on these best bets here in December with legal sports gambling. So going for another winner here. I talked about it a couple times already on the show. I would be stunned if the Blues go on the road and win at Colorado tomorrow. The Avalanche have yet to lose in regulation at home this season. And we know the Blues are incapable of winning in overtime because they're terrible 3-on-3. They're terrible in shootouts. So I'm going to take the Avalanche on the money line. I'm going to pair them up with Indiana on the money line against Alabama in the Rose Bowl. I think the Hoosiers are going to absolutely dominate this game. I think they have a huge advantage on defense where they can really get after Ty Simpson and focus on pressuring him because Alabama cannot run the ball. So my best bet, 2-team money line parlay, Avalanche over the Blues and Indiana over Alabama. I locked this thing in earlier today at -120. You can get it right now at -125 on DraftKings. That play has my full endorsement. I think I would take that up to -140 for a best bet. All right, guys, that is going to do it. Hit the like button, subscribe to the STL Sports Central YouTube channel, and support those advertisers. Get signed up with DraftKings. Use the promo code STL Sports to score $300 in bonus bets. And remember, guys, take 2 minutes. Go to carltoninsurance.net, fill out the super easy form on there, and get a quote from James Carlton with State Farm. For real, guys, there's a very good chance he could save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in 2026. So go to carltoninsurance.net or you can call 314-961-4800. Real quick from the Godson in the chat. He says he's stuck between how I want to bet it, but either straight Old Faithful or Man City money line parlayed with the over 2.5. So what the Godson is referring to is Old Faithful, Man City, when they're on one of these runs in the EPL, take them -1.5 on the spread and bet the over. Over 3, over 3.5, whatever it ends up being. Where usually worst case scenario, you just split those bets because if the team that their opponent ends up scoring, good chance you hit the over. Maybe you don't cover the 1.5, but you split the bets. The Godson, I actually considered this as a best bet. Man City and over 2.5 goals. I think this was, I can't remember exactly what the price was, but it was very playable. I want to say it was around the -110 range. Sunderland's been outstanding at home this season, but eventually they've had a lot of XG luck, and this is going to come back to bite them. And again, Man City's on one of these runs right now. I think Sunderland could very well score here, and we get a game like last week. Man City with a 2-1 winner, that would cash this play. Man City and over 2.5 goals. I think that is the move. I'm going to ride with you on that one, the Godson. He says an amazing price. It is indeed -110. So I think we got to lock that one in there. The Godson, looking forward to that. With the EPL festive fixtures going on right now. A lot of great soccer, a lot of great sports to bet on right now. So guys, if you are, again, not signed up on DraftKings, get it done now. Use that promo code STL Sports to score $300 in bonus bets and have a lot of fun over the holidays, guys. We're having a lot of fun. We're cashing in. Again, only 2 losing days in the month of December for me. So follow us in the free Action Network app. Again, my username is esontag. Mr. Sharp, Shawn Surwillo, who had to leave mid-show to literally go vomit in his toilet. I got the text from him. So this dude, he had the vomit comment, came on, and he had to depart. Mr. Sharp, $44.99. That's how you can follow Shawn and get all of his bets in the Action Network app. He is up over $6,200, guys, since the month of June when he joined the Action Network app. So with him, you got low volume, big stakes. With me, you got low stakes and high volume. No matter how you want to do it, we can help you guys out in your kind of your quest to be profitable here, and we can help you guys cash in. So this has been Domesticated Gamblers here on STL Sports Central, presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. Thanks for being with us, guys. We will see you next Wednesday, and let's cash.